Rider with you.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here. Today we are going to be reviewing Power Rangers Necessary Evil Part 2 Hardcover Deluxe Edition Compendium Extravaganza to the Streets. No, I don't know. I just kept going with all the titles and I started to go with it. But this is Part 2 of the Necessary Evil arc from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers / Mighty Morphin / Power Rangers comic, and it's done in this beautiful hardcover style, which is great for people that, as I always say in these videos, great for people that either just like these collector's versions because they look cool on the shelf, but also great for people that like to get like all the comics in one fell swoop, whether you've already read them or not. I really like these for both reasons, because I really love the hardcover cool collector's editions, and I also like being able to go to my bookshelf and be like, okay, I want to read this two-part arc, and here it is. It's right all here. And you have tons of different issues. You actually have a bunch of issues that cover the end of like the original Necessary Evil arc with the Rogue Blue Omega Ranger, and you have Go-Go Power Rangers issues in here too that complement the story of the Omega Rangers. You have the beginning of the Empryl arc. You also have the beginning of the Green Ranger arc. It also includes Ranger Slayer #1, which was a one-shot, which was basically a prequel to Draken New Dawn, which was a story that centered around Ranger Slayer and the characters in the world of the Coinless in the aftermath of the events of Shattered Grid, which I think is a very underrated story. I thought that was really interesting, character and mythology-wise. It also ended off on a cliffhanger that I'm dying to see them, well, sort of a cliffhanger, more like a teaser, but I'm dying to see them pick it up with an evil version of Andros, seemingly after they were depowered, so I'm pretty stoked about that. And I'll probably have some B-roll footage of me going through it, but I'll just open it up here as well. You also have, of course, like, you also have Dawson fumbling with the pages, which is a feature only to mine. But you have, like, all the cover art and stuff, which is really cool. Another cool collector's aspect of these, if you like the cover art, but don't care so much about collecting the comic covers. It also includes the special story, which was done after Shattered Grid, which were a series of special stories that linked together on covers. They were variant covers. Unfortunately, the TVA got all of them. So thanks, Owen Wilson. Just kidding. Love you, Owen. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yes. The variant covers. They were all variant covers that were part of a story, and you collected them all, and they told a story about the emissaries. That's all collected in here. And that makes me really happy because I wasn't able to get all those physically because my comic shop either ran out of them or didn't get them or whatever nonsense. I think I only got like 2, maybe 3 of them. So I like having all of them there. So if you missed out on those and didn't get digital versions somehow or read about what happened in them, that's in here, which I think is great. Like, this is a really kind of comprehensive version that's got samples from all kinds of different comics from this era, which is really nice, especially for those that might be confused sometimes by the reading order as we split into Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers, and also having other stories like that exclusive one and like Ranger Slayer. Like, this is like, hey, it's all here, which is great. Also, as per usual, sorry, I just said as per usual. As per usual, I did it again. As per usual, you have an exclusive story, which is another Rita-centric one with a twist. Like, at first I was like, okay, it's another Rita one, like, I'm probably gonna like this but be annoyed, because it's like, seriously, like, I love comic Rita. My favorite version of the character. I find her to be a really great character. But it's like, dude, why are all these solo stories about her? Like, there's other characters. Zed needs more focus. He's getting his ass kicked in the main comic. The point is, regardless of that, it was sort of a Rita one, but it wasn't real Rita that it was focused on. It was actually Putty Dark Ranger Rita, and it was one of my favorite standalones. I liked the standalone in the recent Go-Go Power Rangers issue that gave a little bit of a Bridge the Gap story to Rita, which was good but unnecessary. This one isn't necessarily necessary, but it is, because it's a necessary evil. Unagi is more necessary in the sense that it progresses a story for Putty Rita's character, so if and when they pick her up again, this is a really nice stepping stone and an interesting story. It felt like a pseudo-sequel to both the Dark Ranger story, which is also in here, the Dark Ranger story where you had Putty Rita and the other Dark Ranger Putty Rangers from this new universe. A pseudo-sequel to that, and also a pseudo-sequel to the Unlimited story, which featured Phantom Ranger protecting a young Rita and then her getting taken by Master Vile. As Master Vile, not Master Vile, Master Phantom Ranger. Phantom Ranger is exploring a distress call from a planet, and he finds Rita there, and like this guy's like, oh, I was the ruler here, or the advisor to the ruler, and she molded me into Squat. First I was like, are they changing Squat's origins? Because in one of the annuals they did a story about how Squat was a baby given to Rita as tribute. I volunteer as tribute! Squat. 2019, or whatever year that was made. That's not what happened. It was actually just some guy turned into Squat, because this was not real Rita that was ruling over the roost here. It was Putty Rita, as we find out, as when Phantom Ranger's fighting her, he's like, what the hell are you? And she's like, I'm not Batman. And we find out it's this Putty Rita that we left off with. She was rather fascinating. She was a clone of Rita that had all her memories, that was forced to become evil Red Ranger Rita, and then she kind of became self-aware and became quite fascinating, honestly. Like, Comic Rita and Comic Putty Rita are vastly more fascinating than the show version was ever. That's really cool. Regardless, I'm glad they picked this up. I was slightly annoyed we're doing more Rita focus, but I was glad we picked up this version of the character. I feel like this story low-key confirms that, like, not low-key, like I just made the Loki reference, like low-key. But it low-key confirms that the Empress Evil Vile... Why am I having trouble talking this one? Mistress Vile is probably not Putty Rita in the comics. There's been some people speculating that, but this Rita seems to be on more of a possible redemption arc, find her own way, don't do what Rita's doing arc, so I don't think she's going to be Mistress Vile. Who knows? I'd actually love to see this version of Rita come and fight Mistress Vile, but I think this confirms it. Regardless, I'm getting away from myself. To be fair, I was never near myself. But anyway, so he basically stops Rita, and then he finds out, actually, she did a good thing, because this ruler was a POS, and she actually made things better, and the planet was already in ruin before he got there. He breaks her out, they team up, and Putty Rita goes to find her own destiny. She's wearing like a heroic armor, and this inspires Phantom Ranger to get back in the game as he feels guilt for the negative consequences of when he's gotten involved before. So yeah, I liked this story. I thought it was really good. Again, it's not necessarily necessary, except for the fact that it's in Necessary Evil. I thought it was a really good, more substantial story than the individual one that just came with the Go-Go compendium that was really interesting if you're interested in the Phantom Ranger's ongoing story, backstory, and Putty Rita. And I think we will pick that character up again. I hope it's in the main series or another spin-off or something, but I think if they do, this will be a good one to read. Bottom line is, with this, I definitely recommend picking it up if you're interested in this as a way of getting all of these in one swoop. Also, if you're interested in the collector's issues. And also, there's just a lot of good stories in here worth reading. If you want to pick up Necessary Evil Volumes 1 and 2, there's some really cool, good Power Rangers comic stories in there I can recommend. But anyways, guys, that's about it for this one. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell so you get notifications for our videos. Dawson Ryder, signing out.